value of the company. Now, these are some of things consideration you have to be ready when you're ready to exit. First of all, in your business plan, I want to know what are your plans. What's going to happen? What is your exit strategy? So you have to be prepared and decide who's going to sell the business, how much you're going to sell the business, your tax considerations, screen potential buyers, and whether to tell the truth. Biggest issue here is, and we saw, some companies, that they did a very good job. Rather than having chapter 11, they had what? Chapter 7. Because they waited for potential buyer too late. So it's extremely important for a company to be prepared, be ready, and I would put one at the top of the list is potential buyer. Again, like Yahoo, and part of the problem is the ego of the management. I mean, it's very hard for founder of the companies to part with their baby. This is their organization. I have faced that with them personally. It's hard. It's your baby. I mean, something that you created. So the founder of the organization, the vision for their organization might not never realize. So they need, at some point, they have to make rational decision and seek potential buyer. Don't wait too late to tell the employees. So your potential buyer is top on the list of important consideration for companies. Now, question to ask when you sell. Why am I selling? It's the best time. When is the best time? That's very important. When is the best time for a company to decide, by the way, this is the last slide in the lecture, so you have to figure out what are you going to do with your company. At some point, your company, you have to decide, what am I going to do with this business? And this is, as I said, a good example of good evolving organization, the management, and the vision and mission of the organization over the time. At some point, companies, especially smaller companies, so this is a good time to sell. And you saw some of those smaller companies that became very famous quickly and they sold, like Microsoft, bigger companies, they sold it in right time. So when is the right time? Do you sell from a strength, point of strength, or you sell it when from point of weakness?
It's related to your valuation of your company. If you really, as you said before, if you really value your company right, and if somebody is offering more than your value of your company, it means that that's the right time to sell your company.
Research shows there is really no perfect time. But there are some decisions in life you have to make and you have to live with it. But normally you want to sell when things are going well. You get a whole lot more for the company. And at some point, besides selling, I would say, what is other question you need to consider? What is the important question for, especially a smaller organization to consider? Especially in time of recession and time that we are facing multiple challenges from multiple fronts. Besides selling, what will you do? And I have faced that. Besides selling, what would you do? And that's something that's been going in the industry for quite some time, is merging. Some point, is they always said you have to be better than competitor. You have to, just beat your competitor. But I say, no, you don't have to beat your competitor. Yeah. You have sometimes, actually many times, to have a good business, you have to work with your competitor. You have to make. I learned this years ago when I started with one journal. in my competition, the journal, this is a good example of evolving organization. You change your strategy. Rather than me fighting with them, trying to get more authors come to journal, I said, okay, I approach this journal and said, why don't we have some sort of a partnership? And what it worked? Spicy Airlines. Realistically, companies that reorganize and remerge, you don't have to completely merge. Because see right now, between this airline, it's a good example, is they're still independent. You can have an independent competition, but you have some sort of a agreement with them. So with the airline, it's like a mile. You can fly one airline and you can use your miles. So that's very important. Rather than selling, because that's an easy way, selling them. For organization, they need to work something with their competition, not completely merging. That's one way, merging. But you don't have to merge. You can have some sort of a agreement. You just say, okay, if you come to our business, if you are like organization memberships, it's good. If you're a member of AAA, you get maybe some percent off, become a member of one of their competition. We use that model. It's very successful when people can see they're getting multiple benefit from it. So rather than selling, I think evolving organization, and we conclude our presentation and talk about evolving organization is for organization to consider their competition in different ways, rather than just merging with them, rather than buying them, taking over. You have some sort of understanding, I would call it merging, but not really merging. Have some sort of agreement with them that is going to be win-win situation for partner organizations. So you're still independent, but we advertise for each other. But if you grow, we can grow. So evolving organization have to consider many challenges when they're looking to growing. Thank you.